right, good evening, everybody. Today is Monday, November 6th, 2023. The time is 6 p.m. At this time, we will go ahead and call the meeting to order. Councilmember Maldonado.
Here.
Councilmember Buccellato.
Here.
Councilmember Neal is just running a little late this evening. Councilmember Cortez will not be here this evening. Councilmember Larson.
Here.
Vice Mayor Mendoza.
Here.
And Mayor Walter. Here. At this time, we'll start the meeting with a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. Our first item is call to the public, and call to the public is for public comment on issues within the jurisdiction of the town council. Council rules limit public comment to 3 minutes, and individual council members may respond to criticism made by those commenting, may ask staff to review a matter raised, or may ask that the matter be placed upon a future agenda. However, members of the council shall not discuss or act on any matter during an open call to the public unless the matters are properly noticed for discussion and legal action. I do have 2 calls to the public. Before I call the first one forward, I just want to acknowledge a bet that we had with the mayor of Florence, Texas. Her name is Miss Mary Condon, and as you know, our Arizona Diamondbacks went on to the World Series against the Texas Rangers, and we had a little friendly wager against our sister communities. Whereas if I lost the bet and the Texas Rangers won, I would be donning a Texas Rangers hat at our next council meeting. And if our Arizona Diamondbacks had won, then she would have been donning a Arizona Diamondbacks hat at her meeting. So I hold true to my bets. Thank you, council members, for supporting. And please excuse the hat this evening, because I normally don't wear hats, but I'm good with my bets. The first speaker this evening is Miss Shelley Armour.
Thank you. My name is Shelley Armour, and I reside at 3730 North Dakota here in Florence. The reason that I've come before you tonight is I attended a meeting on Friday that I thought was a discussion regarding golf cart rules within the jurisdiction of Florence. However, it was more of just a informational meeting. The questions that I had, I was not allowed to ask, and I was told to bring them before the town council. I know there's nothing we can do here tonight. My purpose is to open the dialogue between the town of Florence and the council regarding the use of golf carts. So my understanding is, at least in Florence Gardens, this all came about because there was a report of underage drivers of golf carts within the 55-plus park. And what we were told at the meeting on Friday is because that came up, if they have to enforce that rule, then they have to enforce all of the rules. And all of the rules have not been enforced for, I will venture to say, decades. We have many unregistered, unlicensed golf carts within the confines of our park, and because our park is isolated, they cannot go outside of the park because we can't drive on 79 in a golf cart that only does 25 miles per hour. So the golf carts are limited to the use within the park. My golf cart personally is registered, licensed, street legal, everything that needs to be done. However, there are many within that park and the other parks that for a variety of reasons, are unable to do that. And these golf carts are their only source of mobility within the park without having to go and buy a mobility scooter or buy a new golf cart that might meet the requirements, or perhaps they don't have a driver's license for whatever reason, in which case they cannot go and register their golf carts. And losing the use of the golf carts would deprive this group of people of their mobility to go get their mail, their social mobility to go visit friends or to go to meals at the park. And personally, I don't see how requiring a license plate and a registration on a golf cart will solve the initial problem of somebody complaining underage people were driving golf carts. To my knowledge, there have been few, if any, accidents. I know of maybe one, but again, it's not something that putting a license plate or registration on a golf cart would solve. So I am just asking you to consider this and to think about it and to work with us to figure out a way that we can meet the town's needs and meet the needs of the people in these parks. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Miss Kathy DeRosa?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Kathy DeRosa. I reside at 7737 West Noble Prairie Drive in the lovely town of Florence. I stand before you this evening as a proud member of the volunteers for the Florence Police Department. The volunteers would like to take this opportunity to thank the town, the staff, Bebo and Allison in particular, as well as the entire staff of Parks and Recs, our wonderful police department, our own Batman officer Mike Williams, the wonderful police department who came out to support the event. Fright Night was a huge success, and we want to thank you all for the opportunity to show off our community and to have fun with the kids. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Miss Kay Bodden?
Correct.
Thank you so much. I wanted to say that correctly.
Nobody usually says it right either, so good for you. Yes, my name's Kay Bodden. I've been a 6-month resident in Florence this is my 12th year. And I bought it and wrote it because otherwise I'll sidetrack. I'm a talker. So I know I have cut it short. I feel like I'm losing the battle before I actually begin. However, when raising my children, I taught them to be honest and stand up for what's right. I'm 84 years old. I've been an Arizona resident from age 9. My husband all his life. We grew up in the valley and moved to Sholo area in 1974. My husband maintains our home he built there. We pay taxes in that county and in Pinal County. I have an immune disease, and the cold weather in the mountains causes me excruciating pain. So when prices were down, we found a little place here in Florence. We are retired and live on a fixed income, are careful to pay in both places what we need and what we use. I'm a non-professional singer and have entertained at Florence Gardens and the Senior Center over the years. I believe in giving back when I can. The town meeting that was held on August 7th in 2023, according to an article in the September Independent News, established certain fees. This date at a time when snowbirds, as they're called, were not here. Many live in RV parks, pay rent, and parks will increase whatever they need, and they won't even know why they're increased. But I do, because I own property here. The town meeting, I was told, the truck comes down my road I live on, and really there are year-round people there. The truck does not stop where I live when I'm not taking the service. My average would be that I need service from November to April, through April, that's about 6 months. And there's just me most of the time, so I only use the trash service about twice a month. But I was told paying for year-round is a break for those who live here year-round. The article states now a consistent $20 fee for water only, and a $20 fee for trash and for water and trash customers. I'm willing to pay a fair fee to reinstate my trash each year to have picked up for the 6 months that I'm here, and I believe that's fair. But I was told I must pay for year-round trash service, no choice. It's water and trash. I was allowed to pay for current water only on October 30th. Pretty much utilities meeting. I'm afraid my water will be turned off. That's how it was put to me. So being forced to pay, yes, I need trash now through April, but I've already been billed for September. I was not here. I didn't even know it was coming because I was not at the meeting in August, obviously.
Ma'am, if you...
September,
Ma'am,
I'm sorry?
I'm so sorry. So you only have the 3 minutes, but I'm very interested.
I can't understand you. It's echoing.
We have a 3-minute time limit.
Oh, is my time up?
Yes, ma'am.
But if
Okay,
you
well, I
leave
was-
what you wrote...
Thank you. I hope you'll reconsider.
Will you please leave what you wrote so we can finish reading it?
Okay, I'll do that. It's kind of scribbly.
Thank you.
I'll hand it over to Lisa. Thank you, ma'am.
Ms. Courtney Ramirez?
Hello, good evening, council and residents of Florence. I see on the agenda tonight that you guys have some stuff regarding the budget and utility increases coming, if that's voted on, which it looks like it will, and development impact fee increases as well. However, as I'm going through the agenda, there's a spot on page 50 where it says that the town adopted a policy for new growth to pay for itself. And talks about on 523, page 523 in 8A, that a no vote would cause a loss of funding for water and wastewater at Territory Square. This is regarding the development impact fees. Well, as a citizen here in this horrible economy, I'm frustrated and really sad that, you guys have just been increasing every fee that you can upon we the people in this horrible economy. I don't think rates need to be increased anymore for a while. And on another, we all believe that this growth, these developers should be helping to pay for these costs with infrastructure. Well, from what I understand, this town of Florence recently paid, close to $2 million or so for water and utilities for Western Crossing and over at LGI by the winery, which I don't understand because, we would all like to see these multi-billion-dollar developers pay for this infrastructure and not put it on us taxpayers. However, in the development impact fee portion of the agenda, it mentions how the no vote would cause a loss of funding for the wastewater and water going to Territory Square. Well, what about our old neighborhoods that have horrible infrastructure and broken water pipes and sewer problems, just like we experienced downtown recently? Our infrastructure in multiple parts of town are crumbling, yet, it looks like now the town's just worried about putting funding toward Territory Square. We would like to see some of our older infrastructure in our older neighborhoods also fixed before we start putting this funding to all this supposed, this new growth. It's just not right, in my humble opinion, that we're always put last. And I'd like to see that change. And I'm astounded that this study costed almost $90,000 just for this impact fee study. It's insane what these study fees are. So that's all I wanted to talk about at this moment.
Thank you. Ms. Jimenez, would you like to comment on anything?
No, not at this time. I've already laid forth in the agenda and in my request for council action, the need and the reason we're doing these things.
Okay, correct. And Mr. Salas, I know that we are very proactive regarding the improvements that are facilitated. Would you like to respond to anything?
As it relates to the costs that are associated with Territory Square. and
Either
what-
the costs or the infrastructure improvements that have occurred, just because I want to make sure that we are having accurate information that circulates and not inaccurate information.
Well, I'll try to do my best to address what was kind of questions. What I'm saying is that the study that is being put forth has to do with new growth and new growth only. And so that would be Territory Square. The costs associated with improving current infrastructure, existing infrastructure, whether it be due to lack of size, due to lack of reliability, due to substandard specifications in the past, those would all be part of our normal rate-based study. So they're two very different things.
Thank you for those clarifications. Is there anybody else that would like to speak during call to the public at this time? Seeing none further at this time, we'll go ahead and close the first call to the public. There will be a second call to the public. We do have item 6, which is our presentations. 6A is a public hearing on a bingo license application. This is submitted by the American Legion, Post 9, McClellan and Parsons, and recommendation of approval, disapproval to the Arizona Department of Revenue on that application. And at this time, I'll turn it over to Ms. Lisa Garcia.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. The clerk's office did receive a bingo license from the American Legion, post number 9. It was properly posted, and we have looked at the application, and it is in good standings and can be submitted to the state. American Legion would like to do bingo from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And so we have been posted to the public, and we're just doing a public hearing, and then we'll make a recommendation to either ask for approval or for not approval from the state.
All right, at this time, I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. Is there anybody in our public or online that would like to speak at this time regarding this agenda item? Seeing no movement, we'll go ahead and close that call to the public, and at this time, we need a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the bingo license application submitted by American Legion Post 9 as written.
I second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, and that motion carries. Council, let's go down to the floor. We have 4 proclamations. For our first proclamation, can we invite any participants in the meeting this evening that served in our military forces to please stand up at this time? Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you for your service. I'd also like to invite you up to be in the ceremony for the proclamation if both of you gentlemen would like to come forward over here. We also have our vice mayor and council member who also served. Let's give them a round of applause as well. This is a proclamation for our Veterans Memorial Day. Whereas on November 11th, Americans commemorate the service, sacrifice, and immeasurable contributions of our nation's veterans who have proudly worn our country's uniform to defend and preserve our precious liberty. And whereas, as we celebrate Veterans Day, we pause to recognize the brave men and women who have fearlessly and faithfully worked to defend the United States and our freedom. Their devotion to duty and their patriotism deserves the respect and admiration of our grateful nation each and every day. We are thankful for the many, many heroes among us who have bravely fought around the world to protect us. And whereas Americans, it is our sacred duty to care for and support those who have shown the courage and conviction and selfless service to our country. We also must not forget or forsake our veterans in times of distress as they transition to civilian life. And whereas time after time, throughout the history of our republic, veterans have defended our way of life with integrity, dedication, and distinction. And whereas in respectful recognition of the contributions of our service members that they have made to advance peace and freedom around the world, the Congress has provided Section 5 U.S.C. 103 that November 11th of each year shall be set aside as a legal public holiday to honor our nation's veterans. And therefore, I humbly thank our veterans and their families for their willingness to answer the call of duty and for their unwavering love of country. Today, we pledge to always fight for those who have fought for us, our veterans who represent the best of America. They deserve our prayers, our unending support, and our eternal gratitude. Now therefore I, Tara Walter, Mayor of the Town of Florence, Arizona, do hereby proclaim November 11th, 2023 as Veterans Day. I encourage all Americans to recognize the fortitude and sacrifice of our veterans through public ceremonies and private thoughts and prayers. I call on all Americans, including civic and fraternal organizations, places of worship, schools, and communities to support this day with commemorative expression and programs. Thank you for your service, gentlemen.
So the mayor just wanted me to go ahead and welcome, or at least invite everybody out to our event that we're going to have on Thursday. Great opportunity where we recognize all of our veterans. So we hope to go ahead and see you across the street. I hope to go ahead and see you across the street. It's just a great opportunity to, once again, recognize the life commitment that those have given in service of their country. So hope to see you there.
Thank you, Chief. November 5th through 11th is our Water and Wastewater Week. At this time, I'd like to invite our Director of Public Works up and all of our employees that work with our water and wastewater for the town of Florence. You guys are front and center. Hello, gentlemen, how are you? Former students.
Oh, I didn't know this.
How are you? Good.
I think we need to keep moving on.
I love when I see former students coming and working for the town. All right, this is a proclamation of outstanding employees of the Florence Utility Department. Ladies and gentlemen, they keep everything working smoothly in our water and wastewater, and we know that sometimes we have challenges, but we are always working hard to make sure that everything is running smooth. Let's give them a round of applause. Whereas water and wastewater professionals are charged with protecting the public health and safety through leadership and operation of public utilities. And whereas the dedication of utility professionals, the public can trust that services are needed by the public will be available. And whereas water and wastewater professionals plan for, maintain, and operate the infrastructure, facilities, and services that are vital to ensuring resilient communities, a high quality of life, and a well-being of Florence. Whereas the town of Florence's water and wastewater professionals include certified operators, maintenance personnel, engineers, and many other dedicated workers with expertise. Whereas when emergencies occur, both water and wastewater professionals work the necessary hours to restore services, and whereas water and wastewater professionals are part of the town's emergency responders, providing vital services that are offered to the public. Now therefore I, Tara Walter, Mayor of the town of Florence, Arizona, by virtue and authority vested in me, do hereby proclaim and declare November 5th through 11th Water and Wastewater Professionals Week in the town of Florence, and urge all Florence residents to recognize the hard work and dedication of these professionals. Let's give them another round of applause. And would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Besides the employees themselves, I want to take a second to thank the public for their patience and understanding that often is needed during some of these projects. It is not uncommon for these gentlemen here, they're standing beside me, to start a project. I think it was either last Thursday or last Friday night. We started a project at 7 p.m. and we literally worked all the way till 6 a.m., took a shower, and started the day over. When those kind of things happen, it takes us a little longer to get back to our work orders, our blue stakes for our commercial customers, turn on, turn offs, and everything else. So, like I said, I want to thank the public for understanding that when these big emergencies occur, there will be a slight delay, but these repairs, emergency repairs, or even sometimes planned repairs, are needed for the betterment of the community. As it relates to the gentleman that's standing beside me, very much a work in progress for my 7.5 years. And I think that these, Don included, fine young men are exemplary in their crafts. They are working towards achieving their additional certifications. And I just wish that sometimes people could see, I guess, the efforts that are being made, not just in the hours that are worked, but in the conditions, whether it be really hot or really cold. I get this question all the time, like, why don't we stop? Well, it's just not acceptable for us to not have working water. The guys will work 24, 36 hours. They'll take a short nap. They'll be right back on the job. So again, I just wish that I thank that everybody for understanding the efforts that these, again, fine young men are putting forth for the betterment of the community. Thank you.
Thank you. I should have brought this too. We have two more. One of my favorite seasons is coming up. Mr. Foster, can you join us, and anybody else on your team for the Junior Prada Rodeo? Please come on up. You're a part. I see you ladies out there. How are you? Before we kick off this proclamation, will you start off, because you are the great-grandson or the grandson? Grandson. See, I taught the great-grandson. This is what I love about Florence, right? Talk to us a little bit about the rodeo, because I know we have some new people that recently relocated, and
Okay. So this year we have a little bit different. We're going to do probably 3 full days of events. On Saturday, though, they are going to suspend some of the events early because we're trying to get a big draw for the parade. So a lot of the events have always run into trying to get those kids here for that parade. So we're really hoping to get a good turnout for the parade this year. Something new we've added this year is last year we did our spring series, mutton busting, where the kids are riding sheep. And so we will include that in this year's parada. We take our top 10 performers from last year, and they'll be featured in the parada this year on Friday morning at 10 o'clock. So a couple little changes going on this year. Ought to be great.
sounds fun. I can't ride a sheep. All right, so this is for you. The Junior Parada Days celebrating 91 years of historical traditions. 91 years. And I can't wait to see the poster this year, too. Whereas the town of Florence, Arizona, takes great pride in its history and the importance of continuing with long-time traditions, specifically Junior Parada. Whereas the first Junior Parada began in 1932 during the Great Depression to raise money for local schools and has continued to hold a special place in the hearts of longtime residents. And whereas the Junior Parada Rodeo is held on Thanksgiving weekend and goes back many generations. Whereas multiple generations migrate back to Florence on Thanksgiving weekend to celebrate the holiday with family and friends and attend the many events planned for Junior Parada as they reminisce of Junior Parada's past. And whereas Florence is committed to enhancing and fostering traditions, enhancing the quality of life for all residents and visitors, and the Junior Parada embodies that commitment. Now therefore I, Tara Walter, Mayor of the town of Florence, Arizona, do hereby proclaim November 24th to 26th, 2023 as Junior Parada Days, celebrating 91 years of historical tradition in Florence, Arizona. And I encourage all of our residents to attend the many events that are planned of this long-standing tradition. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, I was asking Mr. Jeff Graves, I said, do you have family? He has family, but just not here tonight. We're his family tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Jeff Graves. He is our employee of the month. He's usually taking the pictures. He's usually running everything behind the scenes. And tonight, this is all about him. He is our employee of the month. This is an award that goes to an employee every single month. The employees are, their names are submitted. They write fantastic recommendations of why they want this individual selected. The committee reads all of the letters. They go through, they discuss them, and they select one. Jeff, this is your month. He'll receive this award. He will receive a $100 gift certificate to a business of his choice. Thank you to the recommendation from Councilmember Neal with support of all of our council. And I'm going to share what your fellow employees had to say about you. I am writing enthusiastically to nominate Jeff Graves, the Communications and Intergovernmental Relations Manager at the Town of Florence, for the Outstanding Employee Award. Jeff's exceptional contributions to our organizations and community have been remarkable, and I believe that he deserves this recognition. But wait, there's more. Jeff's creative use of words, whether in the newspaper articles or on a social media post, has significantly showcased the town of Florence in the best light possible. His talent for effective communication has been instrumental in keeping our community informed and engaged. What truly sets Jeff apart is his unwavering dedication to his role. He consistently goes above and beyond the call of duty during standard business hours and during critical times when our community needs support, after hours, and on weekends. True story. His commitment to serving our town is commendable and has positively impacted our residents. On a noteworthy achievement highlighting Jeff's excellence in his role as the Festival of Cities champion. Through his efforts and his hard work, he made Florence shine during this critical event, further cementing his reputation as a dedicated and talented professional. Jeff is not just an employee, he is becoming the voice of Florence. His ability to connect with our community and convey our town's values and vision is exceptional. He has become trusted and a respected figure in our town, representing the essence of Florence with grace and authenticity. And in conclusion, Jeff Graves is a shining example of a dedicated and hardworking employee. His creative communication skills, tireless work ethic, and commitment to our community makes him a deserving candidate for the Outstanding Employee Award. I wholeheartedly endorse his nomination and believe he embodies the spirit and excellence we value in our organization. Thank you for considering Jeff Graves for this prestigious recognition. I am confident that his contributions will continue to enhance the reputation of the town of Florence. Let's give him a round of applause.
You could have backed it off just a little bit, Lisa. I think we would have been fine. No, thank you for the kind words, and thank you to the town and my teammates for the opportunity to work with you all and to serve this amazing community. I'm coming up on my 2-year anniversary here with the town and my 3rd year living in Florence, and my family and I love it here. I love what I do, so it is an honor and a privilege to have the opportunity to help write and be part of Florence's story. So thank you everyone.
Ready? Let's squish together. So the League of Champions, he was hustling and bustling, helping us set up our fantastic booth at the Arizona League of Cities and Towns, and did a fantastic job showcasing us. Item F, our presentation of the financial report for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023. Ms. Becky Jimenez.
Thank you, Mayor and Vice Mayor and Town Council. I'm happy to present this report this year. Last year, I kind of got behind and did not get a chance to prepare the detailed report that I normally like to prepare at year end. But I'll start out with just a kind of summary of the general fund major revenues. You can see that these major revenues make up 78% of the town's general fund revenue. City sales tax was up this year. And also from what we forecasted, I was very happy that it came in more. Property taxes were coming in just as they should. We don't always collect 100%. You have people that go into delinquency, so it kind of rolls into the next year, so you can collect, but that was also up from the prior year. Building permits were down. We didn't really get started off with our recovery from the prior year until about in January, so we wound up behind what we had budgeted, but more than what we forecasted. State sales tax came in just about where it should be, up from the prior year, and state income tax had a significant increase because of the additional funding that was received from the state to compensate for the appropriation of the 2.5% reduction or cap out in income tax that's going to occur next fiscal year. Auto license tax was down a bit, and that one goes up and down. That's just paying license fees. Okay. Our general fund revenue last fiscal year was about $19,896,000. This year it came in at $22,110,000. So it was up significantly from the prior year due to that bump in income tax and town recovering some of from the prior year. Our expenditures were down a little bit, and that was just trying to contain costs to make sure that we did not exceed our expenditure limitation from last year, but we did really good this year. So we're real proud of all the departments for holding the line and adding an additional amount to our fund balance. General Capital Special Revenue Funds, this is Fund 11, which is our construction tax fund for residential construction, was up significantly from the prior year, and that's due to residential sales tax hitting. We have a sales tax rate for construction of 4%. So it was, we had a lot of construction in the prior year, and the revenues rolled into this year. So we're up significantly. Construction tax, this is governmental construction tax, was also up this year in comparison to what we budgeted. It's hard to determine who's going to be building, so we just try to make our best estimates based on historical, but we were fortunate to have additional construction tax revenue. Food tax was up this year slightly, and expenditures were up as well, as we're utilizing some of those construction food tax monies. HERF revenue was up from the prior year, and the expenditures were up as well, as they're completing projects, and they have a large operational because they have so many streets and roads that they have to take care of. Transportation excise tax revenue was up. And this also funds street maintenance and repair and special projects. The expenditures were about the same as the prior year. Excise tax, this is a special revenue fund. It's actually a capital project fund. We received funding in the prior year, and at year end, we had some interest income. The expenditures were up from the previous year as we start to utilize the excise tax monies. Our ARPA funds came in at the prior year, $3.3 million, and we had expenditures, we received 1.756 in revenues this year. Expenditures were 3.345 in the prior year, and the expenditures were the same in this year. We do have funding that's allocated as an unearned income, so we're holding some monies in that fund, and as we spend it, we move it from unearned income into revenue. So we had quite a bit of money in ARPA funds, but it's being utilized right now. Water fund revenue at year end, in the prior year, it was up because of $1.45 million in WIFA loan forgiveness. We had to record that as revenue. So at year end this year, it's $5,070,000. Expenditures in the prior year were $5,022,000, and this year almost $4 million in expenditures for projects that we're doing. Wastewater was down slightly, and that's mainly due to the DOC reduction in revenues and some slight revenues. Whenever we did our implementation of the electronic meters, we knew there were going to be some variances, so this is probably what this is attributed to, but we keep a constant eye on the revenues going in here. So we'll be monitoring this. Water expenditures for this prior fiscal year were $4.4 million, and this year $6 million. A lot of that's attributed to WIFA expenditures and ARPA expenditures as well. Sanitation revenue was up from the prior year, and so were expenditures. So you can see those numbers are very close together, 1.357, 1.379, just about a $22,000 increase. And our cash accounts ending at fiscal year end in operating fund were $2.7 million, credit cards $185,908, LGIP, two investment funds, one was 6.57 million, the other was 284,000. PFM investment, where we have investments at 95,423,000, and our little police restricted fund, police evidence restricted fund at $22,000 for a total of $105,205,141. And then I'll just let you peruse through the long report because it is quite lengthy, but it goes into detail, a little bit of detail to tell you what happened in each of the funds and how we rolled out. We have some graphs in there that show you the changes that have come during this fiscal year. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you for that comprehensive report. Next, we have a presentation on our upcoming special events through December 31st, 2023. Ms. Allison Flees. This is my favorite part of the year, in case anybody didn't know that. All of the events going on in Florence, there's so much going on, so much to be celebrated.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, member of the council. Tonight you're going to see a presentation from Allison on just some events coming up in the next 2 months alone. I wanted to bring a little bit of context to this before you saw the presentations. Anyone who's put on events, particularly public events, knows the amount of work and detail that goes into it. A lot of the work and detail that happens on the night of is never noticed by the general public or even some of the people working it. The people organizing and coordinating know all too well the pains that unpredictable things that happen. I explained to Erasimo, or Bibo, our events coordinator, who is not a one-man show but has a support team of the entire town. I was explaining to him last week, managing events and coordinating events is an art form, and it involves relationship building and asking everybody to do what they're supposed to do at the exact time they're supposed to do it. And that takes months of planning, and I just wanted to make sure that going into that, that's on the top of your head and understanding the work that's gone into this. The other thing I want to make you aware of is the team in Florence, starting with Bibo, is not a one-man show. The team is Allison and all of her team. The entire community services department binds together and comes together to make these things happen. They stop what they're doing for a day and help Allison and Bibo out to do whatever, whether it's shopping for supplies last minute or otherwise. It's definitely a team effort. The team extends farther beyond that with all of our colleagues here at the tables in every department you see, from our PIO helping with marketing to Chris and his team helping with closing of roads, and fire and PD making the event safe. So months and months of work and meeting and discussion goes into these. So I wanted to just stage that for you. And with that, I'll let Allison give her presentation. So thank you for your time.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. It's also my favorite time of year in Florence. You can't really find a weekend where there's nothing going on in Florence, so that makes me very proud. I just wanted to go through some of our internal events as well as external events that we have coming up now through the end of December. Okay. So the next event first we're going to cover the Town of Florence sponsored events. The next event that we have scheduled is Junior Parada, which is going to be on Friday, November 24th through Sunday, November 26th. As Bill mentioned earlier, the rodeo starts on Friday. The performance portion of the rodeo starts at 1 o'clock each day, and then the parade, which is Saturday, will start at 10 o'clock, and that's going to be on Main Street. Our December events for the town are going to be our hometown holiday parade. That event is always the first Friday of December. We'll have arts and crafts downtown, pictures with Santa. The parade will begin at 7:30. The Main Street lighting will kick off the event at around 5:15. And we'll have vendors down there. There's going to be just always a great turnout for that event, and the businesses all hop on board and do different activities within their businesses as well. On Saturday, December 9th, we have our Breakfast with Santa. That's going to be over at the community center. Pre-registration is required for that event, and it does fill up fast, so if that's something anybody is interested in, I encourage you to do that as soon as possible. There is a registration fee. It's $8 per person. A breakfast is provided from the Pinal County Mounted Posse. And then on Thursday, December 21st, we will have our Santa Cruise event. That event started off during the year of COVID, and it was just such a fun event that the community really took a liking to, so we decided to continue that on every year. And sorry, just to back up on the Santa Cruz event, that one we will go in Florence, and it'll be a predetermined route in Florence and the Anthem area. Can you help me go back? Okay. Sorry, I guess we're good, yeah. Didn't want to miss anything. All right, the next events that I'm going to share are external events that we are aware of within the town of Florence. So we have the farmers market, and that's been the second and fourth Saturday of every month, all year long. That is held at McFarland State Park, and it goes from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. I do know that the chamber was wanting to extend that to Patia Park as well for some of these upcoming months. The VW Roundup is this weekend from 12 to 8 out at the Charles Whitlow Rodeo Grounds, and that event is put on by 520 Events. Third Friday the first one was last October, or in October, and then the next one is going to be held November 17th. Oops, I'm sorry, it should be 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. in downtown. And then in November, again, we have the Farmers Market, our third Friday event, December 15th, and then the Youth Rodeo Series will also be held on December 16th at the Charles Whitlow Rodeo Grounds. And does anybody have any questions on any of the events?
No questions. You guys are rocking it and making everything happen, so thank you.
I just wanted to add, from what I see and the engagement that I see with people that I guess I know, is that it's really helpful to have it like as a Facebook event, have it as a calendar event, make sure it's posted everywhere. And like I said, I know that PIO is on top of it with making sure that we have, teasers ahead of time and making sure it's posted out there. That's very important, but because we have a lot of great things going on, so it's fantastic. Thank you.
And next up, we have an update on Make a Difference Day. That was such a fun event as well. So many people turned out for that.
Hopefully that's out of the way. If not, I'll move it for you.
I think it's fine. All right, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members, we just wanted to provide you with an update from Florence Makes a Difference Day. As you mentioned, Mayor, it was a wonderful day. Always walk away from that event being so proud to be part of the Florence community. All right, on Saturday, October 28th, we had approximately 175 volunteers who volunteered
Recording in progress.
Sorry, Zoom crashed. Give me 1 second. Sorry.
No problem.
We're right here, right?
Yes.
There you go.
175 volunteers who volunteered their time to make a difference within the Florence community. We had 14 projects completed that we were aware of, and then just one amazing community that came together to make it all possible. We had volunteers from the FHS baseball team. They repainted the F on Post and Butte, and then members from the NJHS, the middle school, they picked up trash and debris along the trails at Post and Butte. The U of A Cooperative Extension, along with the peacemakers, the 1,800 peacemakers, went over to the Florence Community Garden and pulled weeds. They replanted the crops there. They trimmed some trees and just did a lot of work over at the community garden. We had volunteers over at the Florence Memorial Park picking trash and piling up weeds along the alleyways and common areas within the cemetery. We had some of our staff members who were busy trying to clean up the area around the Vets Memorial Park. We had the Rotary Club. They wanted to, before the event happened, we had meetings with the public, and we encouraged them to put together their own projects as well and tackle them on that day. The Rotary Club wanted to tackle the Adamsville Cemetery, so that was one area that they cleaned up on Make a Difference Day. The Lions Club helped clean up 2 properties of senior citizens that we knew were in need on Make a Difference Day, and here's a picture of one of the locations that they helped with that day. And then this one just blows me away, but this is a before and after picture of what was accomplished on Make a Difference Day. And again, this was another senior citizen that was in need of assistance, and we reached out ahead of time, made sure that, it was in fact somebody who needed the assistance and not somebody who would be able to do or had family who could do the project on their own. And the group just really knocked it out. They also did the backyard as well, and it's not pictured in here, but you can see what a difference it made. Teen council members were wiping down the picnic tables and benches around the parks, Heritage Park, Main Street Park, and Padilla Park. And then we had some volunteers as well as staff members cleaning up the parking lots at the community center and at the senior center. Anthem K-8 and JHS, they went around the historic district and were picking up trash along that area. And then the Historic Florence Foundation was out at the rodeo grounds, and they had some volunteers with them as well, and they painted all of the picnic tables that were out there. Senior Center staff, they had asked the seniors what kind of project they would like to see done on Make a Difference Day, and they all said that they would like an additional meal served. So that's what Senior Center staff tackled on that day, and they served meals to...
Recording in progress.
That's okay.
Try that again.
They served an additional meal to homebound seniors on Make a Difference Day. On the 28th, we started a holiday meal drive. So we're teaming up with other organizations within the community, and we're trying to provide 300 boxes of holiday meals for those families in need throughout the community. What we're collecting at the community center is cans of corn. So if you or anybody you know has cans of corn, we're trying to reach that goal of collecting 300 cans by November 17th. And there's other organizations who are collecting items as well. I know the credit union is collecting stuffing, and I want to say, I can get a list of all the other organizations and what they're collecting, but yeah, the goal is to collect 300 items so that we can provide 300 meals to families in need. And we're going to be doing this for Thanksgiving as well as prior to Christmas as holidays. And then just want to give a special thank you and shout out to Florence Copper and Waste Management. Florence Copper provided the I Heart Florence shirts that were given out to all of the volunteers who were in attendance that day. And then Waste Management provided 4 roll-off dumpsters to us to use for Florence Makes a Difference Day. And that is it. I'll take any questions.
I don't see any questions, but I'm sure that we all have comments about what an amazing job the whole community, led by your team, and all of the positive difference that it made. I know that there was conversations happening about, could we implement this twice a year? And those are conversations that we can continue to have.
I just wanted to say it was fantastic, not just the way that it was organized, which was great, but the atmosphere in which everyone volunteered. Everyone was so joyful and really came from the best heart. And so driving around when we were finishing, before everyone got to get served lunch, it was fantastic to see the end results, and everyone was so proud of their projects and what they were able to accomplish. I know there was a desire that was burning in everyone to keep going. They wanted to keep going. So that is something that makes me so proud of the community and for stepping up in that way. So thank you again. This is a fantastic event, and I'm always so proud to see everyone there, and just love the Heart of Florence for that. So.
I'd like to echo kind of like what Kristen said. It's awesome seeing the before and after, and talking to these folks that work for the town that do this for a living, and seeing that this is kind of like helping them out a little bit, you know, working out at the cemetery, seeing all the work that they put out there. I was like, wow, this is amazing. There's not much to do out here, but when I came back, I helped out where I could here at the library, at the community center. And it was awesome having everybody come together, and I got to meet some cool folks also in the process. So thank you everybody that made that possible.
I just wanted to say thank you guys for all you do. I'm a huge supporter, always have been, always will be, and you know, what you guys do does not go unnoticed. So thank you guys for everything you do every day at the community center, senior center, and all around town. We appreciate you.
And 175 volunteers. How incredible is that, Florence?
I agree. And I wanted to say thank you, council members, for you guys' continued support and for showing up that day. I know it meant a lot to the community as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next agenda item is item number 7, and this is our consent agenda, and all items on the consent agenda will be handled by a single vote as part of the consent agenda, unless a council member or member of the public objects at the time the agenda item is called. Item A is adoption of resolution number 1885-23. This is designating Finance Director Rebecca Jimenez as the Chief Fiscal Officer for the Town of Florence for the fiscal year 2023-2024. And item B is to approve to enter into a cooperative use contract with Fortaline Waterworks Incorporated for the purchase of water pipe and miscellaneous fittings and valves using the City of Phoenix cooperative contracts 154213 and 154424 in an amount not to exceed $150,000. Item C is adoption of resolution number 1886-23. This is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Florence, Arizona, approving and authorizing the mayor to execute an intergovernmental agreement, IGA, between the Town of Florence and the State of Arizona Department of Revenue for the administration, collection, audit, and licensing of transaction privilege taxes, use taxes, severance taxes, jet fuel excise, and use taxes and rental occupancy taxes imposed by state, cities, or towns. Item D is authorization for staff to post a notice of intent to increase utility rates. Item E is authorization to purchase fitness equipment for the fitness center using the Mojave Cooperative Contract 22H-0524 in an amount not to exceed $65,973.08. Approval of the September 14th and 27th, 2023, October 2nd and 16th, 2023 Town Council meeting minutes. And item G, receive and file the following board and commission minutes. Charles Whitlow Rodeo Ground Advisory Board minutes of June 22nd, 2023. Community Services Advisory Board minutes, September 14th, 2023. Planning and Zoning Commission minutes of August 3rd, 2023. And the Florence Teen Council minutes of September 13th, 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our consent agenda. Is there any member of the public or audience that would like any item removed at this time? Councilmember Buccellato.
I request that we remove item D, authorization for staff to post a notice of intent to increase utility rates at this time.
Okay, is there anybody else from council or from public? Seeing no such further, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda with the removal of item C at this time.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda with removal of item D.
Item C.
C. C?
No, D. You're correct, D.
I was right, D. Okay.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Councilmember Buccellato.
I just wanted to look at all the items again. After reviewing everything that was provided to us, we are coming in either at budget or above budget for a lot of items, and I just feel like with all the increases that we've had recently, I do agree that we have had quite a few increases, which I know are going to happen when we grow as a community. I just kind of want to take a deeper look into where we could maybe possibly save before having to do this right now, because everybody is hurting. And it's just not something that, the trash increase, water increase, all these things are increasing except everybody's paychecks and Social Security. So it's just something I want to look at a little further and maybe put our heads together to try to figure out at this time.
Absolutely. I will ask Ms. Rebecca Jimenez, will you speak on this item?
Yes, our utility rates and fees are done in increments so that our people that are paying our utility fees don't get hit with sudden large increases. And these are built so that we can keep up with our operation and maintenance in the funds itself and to pay our debt service and capital outlay. We have quite a bit of capital outlay coming up in both water and wastewater funds that are not funded by WIFA or ARPA funds. And so in order to sustain these funds, we have to have these incremental increases. The increases that are proposed are very minor. I would say for this next one say you had a bill of, or had gallon usage of 4,000 gallons, you would probably be paying about $2.97 extra. If you had 5,000 gallons, about $3.24 extra a month. 10,000 gallons, $4.65. 20,000 gallons, $7.73. Our collections are in this North Florence Improvement District, North Florence area, and in the downtown here in Florence, the old portion of Florence. This is where we generate all of our water and wastewater fees. So they have to sustain all the operations and maintenance that we do have. So they are built by the rate consultant to make sure that we have enough funds to cover everything as we go forward. And right now we're functioning on a high population rate, which means it's a little bit less. If we're having to monitor this, because if our expenditures exceed what we originally put into the rate study, we're going to have to drop back down to a a low growth rate, which is more than this. And I hope you remember in the rate study itself, it had a high rate and a low rate. So we're monitoring this right now. I don't want to have to come before you and say we have to jump up all of a sudden $2 or $3 more in the rate. We're doing it in small increments right now.
Okay, so at this time, if there's more questions or you want to have more conversations, we can do that. We can either motion to table for future, or we can make a motion to proceed at this time. I did hear one just point of clarification I wanted to make out, because I know that financially we're good on other ends, but could you also just speak to how the different fund items and the commingling of funds, how we have to keep everything?
Oh, yes, we have to keep everything separate. These are enterprise funds, and so the monies generated in the funds can only be used within those funds themselves. And I do want to just remind council that all we're doing right now is posting an intent. The actual discussion will come at the public hearing, and by that time I can present you more financial information. So this is just a formality that you have to go through when you're going to increase fees. So the actual public hearing is scheduled for January the 16th, 2024.
Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. I appreciate you clarifying that. I was just going to see if we could try to get some information beforehand, because like I said, there have been a lot of rate increases, not extreme, but you know, it all adds up, and everybody knows right now that everything is going up except our income, and especially those on a fixed income.
Yes,
so
I understand.
I'm fine with proceeding to the public, you know, posting and for discussion. So I'm fine with that. I just, if you could give me some more information on that.
Certainly.
I would appreciate it, because it's just something I want to look into further, and if we don't have to at this point in time, I would love for us not to.
All right.
All right, with that, we need a motion.
Make a motion, we approve agenda item 7D.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 8 is new business. A is discussion, approval, disapproval to authorize staff to post a notice of intention concerning amendments to the infrastructure improvement plan and the underlying land use assumptions, the impact fees, setting the date for a public hearing of January 16th, 2024 on the proposed amendments. Ms. Becky Jimenez.
Yes, Council, if you remember, we came before you with our first draft of the development impact fee, and you requested that we go back and reconsider for police and fire substations, and that's what we did. So if you reviewed the impact fee report, we do have now a police impact fee for single family of $1,187 and multifamily $1,061. Commercial retail per 1,000 square feet, $1,587. Office institutional, $704. And industrial or flex, $316. So we have now built into our impact fee study the police portion of this. This includes buildings and structures and vehicles. So with that, what we're requesting is that we had to start our process all over of public hearings. This very first is an intent to discuss on January 16th the land use assumptions and the infrastructure improvement plan.
Council, do you have any questions or comments on that? Seeing none, we need a motion.
I make a motion that we approve item 8A as written.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And that motion carries.
Thank you, council.
Item B is discussion, approval, disapproval of appointing Amber Hitchcock to the Community Services Advisory Board with a term to expire December 31st, 2024. Ms. Lisa Garcia.
Mayor and members of council, we began advertising to seek applicants for openings in October of last year to get through our 2022 openings. This would be our last seat that would be filling our Community Services Advisory Board. We still have 2 alternate positions available, but these would be the last of the seats that are available. As you're aware, when we adopted our ordinance allowing for us to have a 9-member board, we did say at least 3 of those could come from our planning area. So this person would fall into the planning area, and we are bringing forth a recommendation to appoint Amber Hitchcock with a term to expire December 31st, 2024. And we will begin advertising for our 2023 openings, and hopefully we'll have those wrapped up by at least January or February.
Thank you. And I do see Miss Amber Hitchcock in the audience. Would you like to come up and introduce yourself? And thank you so much for being here this evening, and you've attended previous meetings as well, so thank you for your involvement.
Thank you. I wasn't prepared to say anything. But I'm Amber Hitchcock. We've lived in Florence for 2 years, although not in town limits, but in zip code Florence, and we're in Pinal, we're in Magma Ranch. But we're very active members of this community. We've grown to really just love this town. It holds a special place in our hearts. Now that my kids are grown out of the house, it's time for me to get involved in other areas outside of youth sports and school PTA. So I thought this was just a really good opportunity to get involved and give back, and again, just continue to be a member of the community.
Well, thank you. And it seems like a very natural fit from your application and your background and experiences.
It does, so I'm really happy with it.
All right. Well, thank you and welcome. With that, we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve Amber Hitchcock to the Community Services Advisory Board with the term to expire December 31st, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. Item C is discussion of the Town of Florence noise ordinance. Chief Walls.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, good evening. Last time I stood in front of you, referenced this noise ordinance. It was an 8-page, 9-page document. I think some of you may have gotten carpal tunnel from turning the pages. I think as I walked towards the back of the room, some of you may have gently tapped me in the back of my head and said, "Really, Chief?" Well, we took that and we come back to you now with about a 2.5-page document. I think once it's finally set, it'll be about 1.5 pages. So it's something for council to go ahead and take a look at, and we anxiously await council's direction on how they want to go ahead and proceed with this policy. I do want to highlight a couple of things. I think last time I was out here, I mentioned that we had 118 calls for service from August to August, and it was about 2 calls a week. Well, I wanted to make sure that we were still along that line, so I ran calls for service for September and October. It ended up being, I think, 16 calls for service, which makes us about 1.8, so we're still averaging about 2 calls per service a week. All those calls were resolved without issuing any citations. They were all done through compliance measures. Some of the highlights in the new policy that we took, we wanted to make sure that we were listening to council, was that the ordinance, the new ordinance, the revised ordinance, will become a civil violation versus a Class 3 misdemeanor violation. Officer discretion will still be the predominant mode for determining whether or not a violation is or whether a violation has occurred. Construction times were placed back into the ordinance with original start and stop times. I will let you know that one of the council members proposed having a start and stop date of April 1st through October 31st and November 1st through March 31st, changing that from mid-month to the beginning of the month to the end of the month. And that's up to council, whichever way council wants to go and go. I reached out to my colleague Harvey to see if that was going to go and impact our businesses. And Harvey reached out to the Home Builders Association of Central Arizona, and they said it really doesn't matter to them. What's important to them are their start and stop times, which are still the same. In the, April 1st through October 31st is 5 a.m. to 7 p.m., and November 1st to March 31st is 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. That has not changed. Added in there was another issue that one of the council members wanted placed in there, and it basically says multiple unsubstantiated complaints within a 24-hour period could be subject to penalty. And then it clearly defines the temporary permit process, which I think some of the council members had some concern about police being involved at some of the parties, which I think were thought to be at decent times of the day. So with the temporary permit process, I think that will go ahead and quell some of that concern. One of the council members also put in some verbiage changes to multiple sections of the policy. That verbiage does not change the meaning of the revised policy that you guys will see, the second to the one that has all the little scratches and lines through it. The next one below that is the revised version. And again, it does not change what's there. It just kind of wordsmiths it a little bit. If you guys go and look to if council goes and looks to the first policy with all the lines through it, if you go down and look at the very end, you'll see some blue highlighted information. And I have the council member's name to the end of that. Review that and see if that's a change that you all would like to go ahead and make. Again, I've reviewed it. It doesn't make any real change to the policy, just kind of wordsmiths it a little bit. I can go through each one of those changes if council would like for me to read what it currently is and what the proposed change is. Otherwise than that, this is set for your review. You have 3 documents, the entire 9-page document that has all the changes that we made to it. Then you have next to that the revised version of the policy. And then after that, you have the old policy as it was written. So again, with all that information, we anxiously await council's direction and how they want to go ahead and proceed with the noise ordinance. And questions, if you all have them.
Council, questions, comments? Councilmember Buccellato?
I just wanted to say thank you for starting on this so urgently after that meeting, and for reaching out to the staff and even to council for input on this noise ordinance. So you're really appreciated, and thank you for taking this and making it a priority.
Yes, ma'am. You all are appreciated. Thank you.
Are there other questions or comments? What feedback have we received from community members? Because I know that this has been posted and out there.
No, ma'am, the ordinance has not been posted out there.
On our agenda.
Oh,
From that, has anybody reached out or communicated?
they have not reached out to me in reference to the ordinance. Lisa, I don't know if anybody's reached out to you.
Okay, I think our next step of what would be helpful is if we took this revised ordinance with changes, since it's already a document, and had it available for feedback as well from the community. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would like to see us get some community input. I know there was a lot of people that are very passionate about this issue on one way or the other. And I think that at least having their feedback to see if there is any edits that we need to make would be beneficial. So I'd like to see us put it out for maybe even 30 days, would think would be great.
Wonder if we could email it.
Yeah,
I second that.
Put it in the, maybe put it in the flyers for the
Garbage bill.
trash bills on social media, and just see what feedback we get. I think that would be a great way to connect with those community members that are very passionate about the issue.
Yes, ma'am, I will work with the town manager and Jeff, and we'll get that out to the public.
All right, thank you so much. Did you have another mention?
No, I was just going to say the same thing. Thank you so much for putting this together so quickly and getting it back to us, giving us time to review this, and also being so receptive to the feedback. I know I've heard that when we were building this document that we were working through it together. So the teamwork was greatly appreciated.
Yes, ma'am, appreciate you all, thank you.
Thank you. Next up is department reports. Council member, does anybody have any question for any member of the departments? Councilmember Buccellato.
I don't know if I should say it right now or if I should wait until we get into the council discussion section. It's for item G, the C-Click Fix report.
Yeah, questions? They can interact.
Yeah, it's just, as you guys know, we've been receiving a lot of emails about the C-Click Fix. And the emails that are going to the people are, I mean, they're actively working on them, but I guess I just want to ask to Jeff and to Harvey, the ones that are tagged in these issues along with myself, do we need to do some sort of like audit? Do we need to have a two-part process where before somebody closes an issue that maybe, you know, it takes more than just one person to close it, somebody else has to agree that it's closed? Like, how can we rectify the issues that are going on with C-Click Fix right now? Because I feel like you guys are answering more issues than maybe being able to handle what you guys need to handle in order to make sure that the app and the ordinances are being followed. I don't want you guys to just be stuck answering emails all day, but at the same time, these are legit concerns from our residents and myself. And so what do we need to do as a whole to rectify this issue? Do we need to do a two-part process? You know, can we brainstorm some things? Because this app can be really, really, really good. And then this app can, you know, go to the wayside really, really, really fast. So I just wanted to know if there was something that you guys have been thinking of to rectify some of the concerns.
What we're doing right now is we're redrafting our policies and procedures, and we're looking at our guidelines with both IT, C-Click Fix, and the way that other communities are utilizing C-Click Fix as a best practices. And what we want to do is make sure that we're advertising what our intentions are and making sure that it is known what we're going to be doing.
And I guess one of my concerns is things getting closed out prematurely. You know, making sure that we're fair all the way around the board. Things like that also, not just the commenting and the harassment section, but kind of just in general. I think that is very much needed right now because,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
I just wanted to call it out. I guess I could call it out later too, but I know we had talked about doing a review of Heritage Park and potential skate park. We had that in the budget for the CIP. We were supposed to have a meeting of all of us to discuss the plan moving forward, what we wanted, what we didn't want. And my understanding is that was supposed to be moving forward, and we're now almost in December. We're about half through the year, and so there's probably no realistic way we're going to be able to work on some of those plans because we never did the work session that was supposed to be planned during right after budget development. So I'm a little frustrated by that.
because I know that this was something we discussed and we wanted to move forward on. We set the money aside, and yet we still have no action, and we're 6 months in. So I just wanted to remind us that we need to be following through on the plans that we started.
I'll work with community service to get that planned.
All right, everything else? Thank you very much for the updated information. And, Councilmember Maldonado, go ahead.
All right, so this one is for Chief Walls. I was just going to ask you, by chance, now that the better weather's come in, is there a thing, I didn't see it in the package, of putting officers on bicycles or anything like that?
Yeah, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, as Veterans Day, you're making the old man walk.
There's a chair right there. You could sit right there.
Good exercise for me, man.
Take your old
I'll be
seat.
okay.
Just saying, there's one for you.
The answer is yes, sir. So we just actually got our bikes maintenanced, I believe last month. So our officers are scheduled to go to the school, I think, early in January. So once they get certified on the bikes, we'll have them out. But they have to get certified first.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. This will be our second call to the public. If there's any member of the audience or online that would like to speak, go ahead and raise your hand. Roger Beatty.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. First, as the Chamber of Commerce Director, I want to say thank you for wearing the hat. We've already posted it on social media, and we're already getting comments from Florence, Texas, appreciating that you followed through on the bet. And I won't mention what your husband said about the text that I sent him with the picture. Maybe you can talk about that later tonight. I'm also the Vice President of the school board. And this weekend, I'm also, I guess, a board member of the Florence Friends of Kids First Foundation, which is the nonprofit that supports the school district here in Florence. And we had the barbecue festival, which a number of you were nice enough to attend. I hope you enjoyed yourself and had some good barbecue. But it was an amazingly successful event, and we owe that to the town. Your team were amazing. Thank you to the fire marshal and the fire chief for helping making it safe and allowing it to happen, but it really was successful. We haven't figured out how much money was brought in, but we look to hopefully continue the giving out of at least 30 $1,000 scholarships to area seniors because of this and the golf event we had earlier. So it's a great thing for the community, and we really appreciate the support that we have from the town of making it happen in downtown Florence, because the participants really enjoyed it. Usually they're out in some park, in some parking lot, and they never see the town, and we have kind of a special thing here downtown Florence, and now we get to share it with some people. I think everybody knows that You're Behind Barbecue was here the first year, and spending the night here barbecuing, they fell in love with the town, and that's why they're here and opened a restaurant, and we're hoping other people fall in love with it as we all have. So thank you again, and have a great night.
Thank you. That was a lot of fun. That was a great event. Ms. Sherry Har. Well, I called her, and then I'm going to call Steve next. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. My name is Sherry Har, born and raised in Florence. Wanted to say a shout out to several people this evening. Shout out to Bill and Kathy Foster for continuing to make the Junior Parada a success. I know a few years ago you guys had some things handed to you in a short time frame, and you guys made it happen for our youth. So thank you very much for continuing that tradition on. I know that we had one of our council people wanting to move the parada. Glad that did not happen. It's where it is for a reason, and we're happy that it's there still. So again, thank you both for all of your continued work and dedication to that parada. Also, Councilman Buccellato, thank you very much for backing up See Click Fix. We've spent a lot of money on that program, and it could be a success if we all work on it together. I would love to see an audit on that program, to be quite honest. What else? I know there was another shout out I was going to make, so I apologize if I'm 175 volunteers. That's amazing. I apologize I did not make it out this year, but I do plan on being there next year. And I also hope that we have more than one a year. I think we have a lot of seniors out there that we could assist versus helping just the town staff clean up benches. I think that's the town of Florence staff's job, not volunteers' jobs to do that, but that's just my opinion. Last, and I'm going to say most importantly to me, I'm still not getting notifications of the meetings. I spoke to Ms. Buchanan, I think it was last month, and I had to reach out to her. I know, Mayor, you had told her to contact me. That never happened. I contacted her. I was transferred to another person. That individual said it's not on our end, it's on the town of Florence's end. So first, Ms. Buchanan said she thought it was because of my Yahoo account, which was not true. So anyway, still not getting notifications of the meetings, and that was a nice feature to have. So I hope that that feature is reinstated or fixed. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Thank you. I'll give direction to Ms. Garcia to reach out, because, thank you. Mr. Steve Evans?
Thank you, Mayor, council members. I really wasn't planning on speaking tonight at all. Had no intention. But number one, I think you made a good choice on that Amber thing. And number two is, last time you shut me off, so I got to speak fast. Over the last couple of months, I've heard about this click and fix thing. And really what it did for me was brought back memories. And memories of something I got involved in personally 1 billion years ago. And late at night, some guy came knocking at my door. I barely knew him, said he's a pastor of a church, had a member that needed some help. Would I? I went to her house. Turns out that members of the church, like 2 years ago, had come and painted her house and did some other work. And the city or the utility come by and shut her gas off. So she'd been without gas for a couple months. It's freezing out, and her windows were painted open. She was so elderly that she couldn't break it. And anyway, so I spent a number of days, month there, taking care of her. Called the city, got the thing I fixed, inspected. The utility came back, turned her gas on. So this whole click and fix thing brought all those memories back because I got really involved with other people and helping them. And so my envision of this click and fix is telling on people that maybe some of them don't have the ability to take care of their yards. And that's what started to concern me. So it got me thinking, and over the past few months, I was thinking, you know, I want to do something. This scares me. Instead of getting a lien on their property, or however some of these may end up, there are people out there that just need help. And I can do that. So I mentioned it to a couple people. And then Florence Make a Difference Day, I mentioned it just in passing to a gentleman in the morning. And he's like, you know, that's a good idea. I'd be interested in helping you out. And he comes back about 11 o'clock, just, Steve, you got to make this happen. Because the gentleman we just did, he's a paraplegic. And 4 years ago, he wasn't. And he's been having some personal battles, and this is exactly what we need to do. I said, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to do it. I've already done some things, picked up some momentum. If it's an insurance thing, I've got that covered because there's liability. There's a bunch of stuff. But I'm not much of an email guy, even though that's all I do all day. But I prefer to knock on some doors and maybe talk to some of you, because the only disconnect right now is I need to find a way to put those people in touch with me, or me to find those people. And I'm thinking that click and fix thing, I don't know, might help. I have no idea where this thing is going to end up. Don't shut me off. But it will materialize, and we're going to need...
She wants to respond. It's positive criticism.
You're fine, Steve. I knew what you meant. You're fine. I actually wanted to respond to you just because I wanted to let you know that there's actually a group here in town already doing this kind of thing. So when we were at the police department's event, what, a month and a half ago already, a month ago? Yeah, we were sitting down at tables and we were doing round tables and people were sitting with us and talking to us about what they do in the community. And there's a big group of people that are reaching out to senior citizens, elderly, veterans. So I don't know if Mr. Walls can let you know of the contact. I know one of them was with I want to say Knights of Columbus, and there was quite a big group of people in the community already kind of working on something like this and identifying, and I am very interested in helping as well, because last year on Make a Difference Day, I connected with a veteran who, his yard was just out of control. We knocked on the door. He said, no, I don't want any help because pride. And what we found out was his wife is actually battling Alzheimer's and he's her only caretaker to and from her infusions. And it's not that he didn't want to clean his yard, he just couldn't clean his yard. And that yard has now been kept up ever since. He just needed a head start. So I'm 100% with you. I think this is a really great thing. And I do know that some people are already working on this. So I will do my best to also get you the contact information along with Chief if he has it. You got it? Okay. He's got it. Thank you.
Hammer it out.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll give direction for both our police chief and our community services director to reach out. Thank you. You are welcome.
I'd also like to add to that, echo what Nicole just said. If there's anything like that, anything that I can help with, as far as veterans, if anybody finds out it's a veteran in need or their family, I'd like to also be kept abreast of that, so that's something I can help with also in the community. Thank you.
All right, Miss Jo Ruiz.
Good evening. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. So good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. I just would like to say a lot of congratulations tonight. I do want to mention Jeff Graves because he has been such a wonderful help to me. And thank you, Jeff, and congratulations on being selected Employee of the Month. Well deserved. Also, to Chief Walls. Chief Walls, I visited my father today, and thank you so much for taking time to get down out of your patrol vehicle and go speak with him as he was sitting under his porch. As you well know, my father is now a widow and has been for 15 months, and he's soon to be 82. And you've been very instrumental in helping me connect him here with Florence PD, and the fact that you also brought a young lady that grew up here, and he recognized that she was from here but really couldn't place her with the parents. So we discussed that, and I just want to say thank you so much for doing that. You have no idea what 5-10 minutes in a person's day that lives alone like that, what a difference that has made. So thank you, and thank you for always reaching out that way, especially to our elders. On the topic of See, Click, Fix, thank you to Ms. Buccellato for speaking up, and also for the gentleman that spoke about See, Click, Fix. Yes, indeed, we did. We had a very good talk about what's going on in our community and how we can find out who these elders are and where they live, and meet and see how we can get in touch with them and help them out. So I'm pleased to be part of that, and I also offer my services as well. So if you get started on anything, council knows where to reach me. I know several of you already do. I know Ms. Garcia does as well, so I'm interested as well. All things said, I'm still interested in having a carnival here. I don't think I'm going to give up on asking. I mean, I've been given direction here, there, and a few other places. However, I'd like to know, how does one begin to ask to get a budget for said event? And would this not be kind of cool to kick off the Florence Make a Difference Day with a carnival? Just leaving that for thought. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. And Miss Courtney Ramirez.
Hello again. Everybody's on the See Click Fix app, so I thought I'd chime in on that. I think that's a good thing, and I think it's a bad thing. We all can agree that we want to live in a nice looking town and have our properties looking nice. However, it almost seems like there's probably more people in town that don't agree with the way that is all happening, that, you know, the citizens have been allowed to narc and snitch and report people and lead up to a lien on a property and the threats and whatever. Well, some of these landscaping jobs can be $600+ a month with trimming trees, weeds, mowing, all that stuff. This stuff does get very expensive. And so if there is people in the community, if there is a little group formed, I'd love for somebody to even reach out and give me that info so I can pass that along. Again, in this economy with the prices of everything increasing, people's yards are the last kind of, you know, thing on their mind. And some people are having to work 2 and 3 jobs just to buy food, and you know, and so this harassment of the people on the people for their homes through this app, I think is very absurd. It's very sad that you guys pitted the people against each other with this app when we have staff that can do that. You know, it's putting a lot of pressure on people, and you know, they don't want liens on their homes for stuff that they can't, you know, take care of, whether they're financially bound or handicapped or whatever. It's just not right. So if there is a group, I'd like to know about it. And, you know, cut some people some breaks here and there, because everybody is struggling right now, and their yards are probably one of the last things on their mind right now. But I'd like to get involved and get some information on that as well. Thank you guys, and have a good night.
Thank you. I love that you want to get involved. I very much encourage that. I also just want to take a moment. Ms. Garcia, can you please correct me if I am incorrect? But to my knowledge, we only have 1 lien on any property in the town of Florence, and that was the Cocapelli that burned down. Is there more?
So the way that it works is if it goes through court, so do you know how they say you have 30 days to be able to go ahead and clear your lot? If you do not clear your lot, then you will become over and become a case that your prosecuting attorney will take care of. It'll go to court. If they have to clean and lien, then those liens will be filed on their house, and they'll be filed with court. Cliff, would you like to add anything?
Mayor, and members of the council, I believe you're correct. Cocapelli's the only one where we filed a lien on the property, and that's commercial property.
I have several liens.
Not, over the years, not while I've been here in the last 8 years. As far as prosecution, we've been successful 100% of the time that the person comes in and cleans up the property through that process. So we haven't proceeded with any liens in the cases I've been involved with.
Okay, thank you for that. And, you know, I know that we have a lot of organizations, as well as our council has been very much involved in volunteering. So I just want to put that out there for the record. Is there anybody else in the audience that would like to speak, or anybody online? Yes, ma'am, come on up. Miss Sherry Crossling from Florence, as well as she serves in our Chamber of Commerce.
Good evening, Mayor Walter and members of the Town of Florence Town Council. So thank you for letting me come up. I wasn't even planning on being here up front tonight, but I did want to say I went to the Viney Jones, the renaming of the library to the Viney Jones Library. And it was such an honor to be there. I really got to know her through the family and the members of the community that were present. It was really one of the highlights of one of the many things that I've done in Florence. And it sort of took me back, and I thought of my grandmother and all the ways she helped people. And I just know that Viney, they called her, I think, Mama Jones. Yeah, she was really instrumental in bringing the community together in the activities and getting the kids to have library cards. And that was instrumental in my upbringing of my kids and my own personal upbringing, is these public spaces that we have, museums, libraries, state parks. No amount of money that a parent can give a kid is in exchange like toys or books. To me, it's books all the way, because that opens up a whole new window of opportunities for children and adults alike. So I was really happy to be a part of that event, and I thank you, Arthur Snake Neal, for bringing it forward. And I didn't know the true meaning of it until I heard about Viney Jones. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, seeing no further, we have our call to the council for current events. Councilmember Maldonado.
I just want to thank everybody that came out to Florence Make a Difference Day. That was an astonishing number of folks that showed up for that. Jeff, congrats, well deserved. And then thank you to all those that step up to these positions and give up their time, because without you, a lot of things wouldn't be possible. So thank you for that. The last thing is, I just like to wish all the veterans happy Veterans Day. There's a lot of veterans events going on in the different American Legion posts, VFW posts. Just look online and you'll find numerous things going on. But I do know in Santan they have pancake breakfast this Saturday at 9 at the post there. So just be well and be the one.
Councilmember Neal.
I wanted to first off thank Mr. Graves for all the work that he put into the Viney Jones renaming. Man, he killed it. He killed it for that event. He really did. Also, Florence had a whole lot of events going on. I went to the renaming, then I had to do an escape room and barbecue. They know I'm fat. They stuck me up there, all them people cooking. I probably wouldn't have left if they had to closed up. There was also the stagecoach, horses or something. I don't know. That thing, yeah, I don't know. I got an email about the school out in Anthem. I worked at the school for quite some time, and I'm always about people driving. I honestly don't know about how many actual people I wanted to go out and turn their car over because they don't act like the little kids ain't crossing the road. So I think we need to get back to our signage and lights on the schools. I think that is extremely important because people drive through there like they ain't never seen a kid before in their life, and it's crazy. And share what you said made all of it, because a lot of people don't know Miss Jones. And to find out what she, like you did this weekend, to find out how much that lady actually did for this town, it's crazy. And it's a great thing that her name, her face is all over that library now. Now we just gotta work on the outside. We'll have it all taken care of. And the Gophers, Friday and Thatcher fell short to Thatcher, but they had a great season, and forever go Gophers.
Councilmember Larson?
So there's a few things. So I also received the email about the school signs and traffic issues surrounding the schools. And I think that's something that we should certainly look into. So I'd like to see staff just at least follow up with an email as to what can be done. Possibly if there is budget allowment at the end of the fiscal year, looking at possibly using it to highlight some of those signs or have more active police patrol, whichever they see fit. I guess I'd like a little bit more information about that. And then I wanted to, Steve, right? Yes, Steve. Thank you so much for speaking tonight regarding helping out these community members. And I just wanted to echo the same sentiments that I would love to help as well. And that's a great initiative to be able to step in and be the helping hand when people need that. So that'd be fantastic, and I'd love to be a part of it. I want to thank everyone for the Make a Difference Day, the Pitmaster, Viney Jones renaming ceremony. I mean, we were busy. We had a busy week. So everyone who came out, it was fantastic to see everyone and have that community connection again. And then I just want to remind all of our council, and I say this with the most love, is that when we're doing the call to the public, when the public is speaking, we are not to be engaging back and forth. And it's great right now. It's fantastic in a positive way, but I know that when there's a hot topic issue, it tends to get escalated. So I think it's best if we just stick to the rules, not engaging, and then we can say it at the call to the council. It's sort of a thing for me to make sure that we're sticking by that, because I don't want to have that discussion and then have it be an issue. So just wanted to point that out. But otherwise, I'm so proud of all of the events that everyone has put together, and I look forward to all the events that are coming forward in the next couple months.
Councilmember Neal had one more add-on.
I forgot about the event out at the rodeo grounds. They threw a bunch of little kids on sheep, goats, and man, they was getting thrown all over the place. It's great. I thought it was wonderful. But signage out at the rodeo grounds, and the people are out there pulling trucks full of horses and cows. Them is big, powerful trucks, and if you don't see it, I done lived here my entire life. I drove past it. We need to get signage out there because it is getting bigger and better every year. We got to get signs out there so people can start. I mean, I'm talking even turn lanes. We got to get something out there immediately, because I seen a truck pulling God knows how many cows and locked up brakes, and it could have been horrible because you can't see where the turnoff is going into there. We need to get on that ASAP.
Thank you. Councilmember Buccellato.
So a lot of things have been talked about, so I'll just kind of touch on those quickly instead of going into depth. But one of the things that I was wondering about is what are we as the town doing for the issue with the Indian Bureau of Indian Affairs and what they're doing to some residents and business owners here with raising the cost of power up to 250%. Governor Hobbs just got involved. I've been following it pretty closely, and I just wanted to know what are we doing as a town. So if somebody could, let me know, or if we can kind of brainstorm on what we can do as a town, because a lot of these residents are here, and we are one of the areas that's affected. So to see all these other areas jump in and get involved, and we haven't said anything about it, is kind of concerning to me, because that, whether it's one person, I mean, it's just not right, 250%. So I definitely think we need to get involved and put a little pressure on what's going on right now. As you guys remember, a few months back, it was about budget season when I was bringing up about the kid that almost got hit in the crosswalk at the high school. I did respond to the lady that emailed us today about it, and I told her I wholeheartedly agree with her. I don't know if there needs to be light up signs. I don't know if there needs to be
speed trap, radar, I don't know what we need to do, but from the high school to K-8 to elementary, it's a problem. It's congested at the FK8 so bad that people literally are going in the wrong direction at times, and the police do a really good job in the morning, and if they can be there, they do a really great job in the afternoon, but it doesn't stop people from going the wrong way. If people start noticing they're going the wrong way, they usually cut off before they see the cop down one of the side roads, but it's definitely an issue with speeding and wrong way drivers around there, and it's an accident waiting to happen. And at the high school, it's also an issue because it's starting to get dark again early, and the kids have to be at school at the high school by 7 in the morning, and it's still dark and they're crossing Main Street. And a few months ago when I had brought it up as an issue is because it was a diesel that locked up and literally came this close to the kid in the crosswalk, and it was pitch black outside, and the only thing was the 2 white lines, which are so dull they don't have any kind of reflection. Or so we have these light up stop signs over here on Hunt and 79. And I don't know if that's something we need to do, like crosswalk. I don't know if we need to do lights in the reflector. I don't know what we need to do, but we definitely need to sit down and brainstorm something, because it's not only council, it's residents, it's school administration, everybody's kind of complaining about the same thing, so I think it's time we listen. Great events this weekend. Viney Jones, close to my heart. When I posted that, I went and I posted some pictures on my Facebook page. My sister chimed in and she's like, oh, I remember her. She used to yell at me all the time for my volume control, and she always treated us like one of her own. And I said, that's funny, because that's exactly what I told her son she used to do to me. We were very excited to be there, and we were very loud, just like we are today. And Viney always treated everybody that came in that library like her own. If she knew you were hungry, or she knew your family was going through something, she had graham crackers and a juice to give to you, and she really made you feel special. And I still remember Miss Jones to this day. So great job on putting that together. Beautiful event, so many people there, and it was just really nice listening to all the stories about somebody that impacted my life at such a young age. Fright Fest was amazing. I have never seen it that big in my life. I mean, it went all the way from Coffee Station all the way down Main Street, both sides full, on the sidewalk, in the road. I mean, we literally did half of it before my little one was ready to go, and that's a good problem to have. And this weekend we had many events to go to, and I just kept thinking, like, wow, what a problem to pick what you can go to and what you can't go to. I mean, there were so many options of things to do this weekend, and I think Florence should be really proud of that, and a lot goes into that. And so thank you, Paul, and Public Works and everybody that makes that happen. Barbecue competition was amazing. I ate entirely too much, had a great time, and it was for such a good cause, so super proud to be supporting that. I was gonna ask Mo, if you could find out if the public is going to be able to attend bingo at the Legion, because I love bingo and I want to go, but I'm not a member, so I need somebody to get me in, because I love bingo. And they do have it at Florence Garden starting back up too, so I'll get information on that. But I think that's a good thing. I think that's a great way to get to know your community by attending those kind of events, so I think it's good.
To you right away, if you give me a sec. Right now, there's ongoing bingo at the Santan Post every Sunday at 2 o'clock. So if you don't want to wait for this license to get back, because it takes a little bit of time to get through the system. Right now, you can get it out of your system.
Okay.
The
Go
Santan Post.
We used to have it at the church here, and it was a big thing back then. So I hope it does really good here. I'm excited for some things going on. And again, happy Veterans Day. To all the vets serving and those that have served. You're appreciated. That's it.
Vice Mayor?
With all the activities that we had, I did get a chance to go to the Viney Jones renaming celebration, and that was quite amazing. Unfortunately, all the other things that happened this last week, I was unable to attend because we had a death in the family. But the things that I did get to see and the pictures that I've seen from all the other events just proves that we're still here and we're still getting bigger and better. So thank you.
All right, well, thank you. Everything has really been stated about all of the fantastic things that have happened over the past few weeks in the town of Florence and what we have to look forward to in the town of Florence. The town of Florence is a great place to be. For those of you that this may be your first season here, Main Street's about to turn into a Hallmark movie, is what a lot of people refer it to as. It is a great place to be. I'm really excited about this upcoming season, especially with the new businesses that have opened their doors on Main Street. I want to encourage everybody to shop local, and you have so many options now right here in the town of Florence. In regards to some of the comments from this evening, I would like to see and give direction for an upcoming agenda regarding signage, limited but not including to, first and foremost, the schools and areas of safety. But then also I want to make sure that we have an update, because we have been actively putting the new logo on existing buildings, and there's several buildings that still show an old faded / burnt logo, and I'd like to see those all corrected. Councilmember Neal referenced signage down at the rodeo. I think that we do need to have additional signage at the rodeo, as well as where the cemetery is. As many times as I've been to the cemetery, I typically am not one that drives. I am the passenger, and I get a little lost when I have to drive because the signage is not there. Lastly, I'd also like us to partner with the county. I've mentioned this a few times prior, but when we're in the town of Florence and it says Florence, 5 miles, and I'm like, nope, I'm here, I'm in Florence. Can we have those signs corrected so that way, if we want it to say historic Florence or denote something particular, add that, change it, because we're growing as a community. In regards to Bureau of Indian Affairs, I'd like to give staff direction to reach out to the governor's office. I know that we are typically in communication, and they actually reached out this past week, and we've been playing phone tag. So we are trying to collaborate and work on that, but it'd be beneficial if everybody was on that update when we do receive one. And we heard from a speaker earlier this evening regarding golf carts. I just want to give direction for our police chief to reach out and facilitate that conversation. If it's something that needs to go further to us, keep us informed, please. Thank you for everybody staying and participating in the council meeting. Over the years, it's been fantastic. I can recall, one person in the audience, and over time, just seeing the amount of participation growing and people being active and involved. This is what makes our community great. So I just genuinely want to say thank you. We do have an executive session this evening, and with that, I need a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn to executive session.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you so much.